Hi all! In today's video, I'll be answering top questions that I receive from aspiring product managers. PM is a unique field in that even though it's very hot and growing right now, there still isn't a ton of educational content out there for aspiring PMs. Especially for those in university, there often isn't an easy degree or major that you can jump right into. So in this video, I hope to share some insider look into the industry and what PM life is like. This video is made with the help of aspiring PM Yen. Thanks Yen for helping me put together these questions. I'm currently a software product manager at Sonos. Sonos is a smart home, Wi-Fi connected audio company. We're in the consumer electronics space, so we make very cool speakers like this one that you can synchronize all over your home. And what I do is software product management. So that means I get to work on things like the mobile app, the voice assistant integrations, or the radio service. I'm among a group of many PMs, which includes not just software PMs, but also hardware PMs, which work on things like industrial design and the way that the hardware in this device works, or even software hardware PMs, which connect the software stack and the hardware stack together. I think that's one of the things that's really cool about Sonos, because a bunch of people from different types of backgrounds, whether it be business like me, or maybe mechanical engineering or electrical engineering, or of course computer science, can all come and work together to make this amazing device. So the product manager is definitely one of the most cross-functional roles in the company. We are the glue between the different teams that come together to build something. We connect the engineers, the UX designers, the business people, and their different needs and goals to make something cohesive and prioritize the different needs between all of those folks. I would say the people that I work with most closely are engineers, UX designers, and other PMs. So with engineers, I look at really the how of what we're going to accomplish, what we have to work with, and how we can accomplish a particular goal. With UX designers, we work through the different ideas about the needs and use cases. We look at different profiles of customers that we have and try to understand what the compelling experience is going to look like. The other PMs are really my partners in crime, so we keep aware of what's going on overall and keep tabs on every single team's output, how we can work together to accomplish something, how maybe I can build something that fulfills their use case as well, and make sure that the strategy is cohesive across different teams. I also work with a whole bunch of other people, marketing, data, BD, customer care, and so forth. Really being tuned in to different parts of the org, different people that have input around the product is just a huge part of the day-to-day. So that does mean a lot of meetings. That means a lot of communication. I hope that if you're a product manager, you like being around people, you like building relationships with people, because that's going to be a huge part of how you can accomplish your own goals. My schedule looks something like this. My day-to-day, a little bit crazy, right? There's really no typical day of a product manager. That's one of the great things about the PM role, is that it changes every day, and the type of things that you do, the people you work with, it never stays the same. That's something I really love because, to be honest, if it was any other way, I would get really bored. But for the sake of this video, I'll try to take you through kind of the typical recurring themes or recurring tasks that I need to work on throughout the year. So the type of things that you do really depends a lot on the phase of the product that you're in. So if you're in a discovery phase, that's going to look really different than if you've already launched or if you have a product out in the field. For the discovery phase, there's a lot of user interviews, listening to data from users, finding their pain points, honestly just thinking through the different use cases, writing product requirement documents. So writing out specifications about what you think might be a good fit for this pain point or use case, and then sharing that out with your team for feedback and iteration into something that really becomes later the product. In the later phase, you might spend a lot of time dealing with bugs, prioritizing generally what is the next thing, what is the next way to improve this thing that you've made, and tracking the different standards that you've set for performance of your product. So maybe you have certain goals around how good it performs, how fast it is, how satisfied customers are. So looking at all of the data that comes in and making sure that you're either hitting those metrics or you're doing something to make sure that you will hit them in the future. Soft and hard skills for PMs. I'll start with soft skills. I think the first one I would recommend is writing. People really underestimate how much writing that you need to do as a PM, especially product requirement documents. The writing that you do has huge visibility. You want to send out your documents to as many people as possible to get all of their feedback, all of their input, and integrate that into the product. So your writing needs to be very clear, very detailed, but not verbose. Different types of audiences need to be able to understand the core of what you're getting at. At Amazon, there's actually a writing exam that product managers need to pass. So definitely being able to write really well is a must. Another one is time management. As a PM, you usually need to juggle multiple projects and programs at the same time. You might need to do a lot of context switching between different types of things. And as you do that, you need to make sure that your priorities are really straight between how these things rank against each other, how the needs within those different items rank, and how you are going to apply your time in a way that all of this is going to work. Not only that, the time management that you do applies not just to yourself, but also to all of the people that you work with. So your engineering team, your design team is depending on you to make sure that your time is managed well, things are prioritized correctly so that your team can continue to succeed. Data is so important, being able to think in a data-driven way, being able to do data analytics and look through numbers, many times being able to visualize and communicate about that data out to a broader audience in a way that's clear. Definitely a huge skill for PMs. Another one is actually finance. So looking at these different financial documents on how the product is priced, how profit margins make sense for long-term revenue or profitability, and being able to think through the financial model of a product you're going to put into market. As you grow as a product manager, really getting that finance aspect behind the success of your product is going to become an increasingly important piece of the role. There's a lot of soft skills involved in being a product manager. So that can be writing in the form of product requirement documents, specs, briefs, or speaking, whether it be a presentation to leadership, to your team, to your org. The goal of all of these communications is getting folks aligned around a central idea that everybody can believe in, everybody can direct their action towards. And so you need to be able to be really clear, be really articulate, and gain buy-in around something to be able to move forward. In terms of more long-term skills, there's also been a big focus. I definitely spend a lot of time on LinkedIn Learning. One of the big ones is technology, computer science type of tech knowledge. So a lot of people think, oh, I should study computer science, I should know coding. But actually coding isn't really that helpful in your day-to-day PM life. You're not that far into the weeds. But what you do need to know is a little bit higher level technology concepts to do with making code. So for example, systems architecture, systems design, version control, release management, APIs, like these kind of higher level things that make you really fluent with talking with engineers and understand how the system architecture is going to contribute to the performance of your product. These kind of things you really need to feel comfortable communicating about. Making my technology foundation a little broader has definitely been a continuous thing that I'm working on throughout my time in my career. Another one is data analytics. So these are things like Tableau visualization, SQL, statistics, stats thinking, and knowing how to conduct an experiment, do an A/B test, read product metrics. Those are huge, huge pluses, or I would say core parts of the PM role in terms of being able to think in a data-driven way and really justify decisions you're making that impact the customer with actual customer data. Especially at a smaller company like Sonos, we don't have a big group of the data service desk that you can go and ask any question. A lot of the times we're trying to find our data on our own and building our own Tableau dashboards. And so having a very strong data analytics foundation is a big focus for me, and I think a huge plus to anybody else out there looking for a PM role. All right, the first one that comes to mind is recently I was working on the voice assistants in the Sonos device, and Sonos is actually the first ever company to release multiple voice assistants on one device. So that was really cool because we're working in a totally new space. People haven't figured out how to solve these problems from a tech point of view, but also there's some really fun use cases that come with voice assistants and how customers know which one to talk to, know how to interact with them. They're a little bit awkward still, so how do you do some workarounds? And yeah, that was just a lot of fun in this new space, working with partners, working with big companies, getting to travel around and test out different prototypes. That was definitely a fun product and a really cool launch. Product strategy is a huge topic, so I'll probably need to do another full video on this one, but I'll simplify it as much as possible. Product strategy consists of 3 aspects. Customer need, hopefully it's the first one. Business need, where is your business going? What kind of goals does your business have? And feasibility, can you actually do what you are setting out to do? Sometimes it starts top down, so maybe the business will say, hey, we need a lower price product. We need to move into this new slice of the market and figure out what kind of lower priced offering that you can create. And then you have this business constraint, and then you look for customer needs within that and see, what kind of customers do we have in this lower segment? What are they looking for? What can we cut out of the higher end product to fulfill their need and make a really compelling offering? In other cases, maybe you have grassroots, customer-driven product creation. So for example, you have a lot of customer input and data suggesting that there's a particular pain point that has yet to be filled. And so then you really jump into that pain point and see if there's some sort of product offering, something consumers find really valuable that can be made out of that, but also is feasible, so you can actually build it, and two, it makes financial sense in that you can still earn money off of a product like this. For me, the best thing on product management is probably how much of a role we have in the why of the product. This is a thing I'm eternally grateful for as I do my work, in that I don't simply execute on certain goals that were set by somebody else, but I actually have a role in figuring out, why are we doing this? Is this the right thing to do? And how do we go about that? And in some cases, you have to have a voice and say, no, it's not the right thing to do, or no, we want to change our approach. And so I love the amount of impact that I'm able to have and the sense of responsibility for creating a good outcome. Some other big ones are the variety and the excitement of every day being different, and the close relationships that come with working together with so many different people. I think one of the harder things is how many plates you just have to juggle at the same time. There is going to be tons and tons of competing priorities, and you're just not going to be able to do every single thing that you want to do. That won't be a good outcome for you as a person, and it won't be a good outcome for the product either. Being able to set limits, understand your limits, set boundaries based on that, and prioritize accordingly is, a huge skill, and also one of the challenges that you have to push through all of the time. One of the things that I learned about going into PM is that, it's actually not that necessary or even necessarily that beneficial to go directly into product management. Product management is unique in that if you're going into engineering, you probably want an engineering background and grow your engineering experience, and then that will make you a better engineer. But in product management, there's a lot of different types of PMs, and one of the things that makes them so helpful and so powerful is the way that they have strengths in a bunch of different domains. You might have a marketing background and then have a really good sense of what product marketing is like, and that will make you a stronger PM in that space. It will give you that unique value proposition compared to other PMs that might be strong in design or might be strong in computer science. Spending some time in a different position that you like, that you feel passionate about, is going to give you a strong value prop and set you apart from other people. My advice is, don't be worried if you're doing something else and you want to go into PM, because that's definitely going to help you develop yourself and your strengths. Another big piece of advice is to self-learn as much as possible. As I mentioned earlier, continuously learning is already a huge part of the PM role, and it starts with learning about the PM role itself. So read books, read Medium articles, watch YouTube videos like this one. If you know some PMs, or maybe you're at a role currently, find somebody to job shadow. Go ahead and spend a day with them, look at what they do day to day, ask about the kind of skills that they use. If you're not in a current position, you can find people on LinkedIn. Reach out to them, message them, ask them to rack their brains, spend some time talking about the skills that they use. Just like engineers are expected to participate in hackathons and do engineering projects on the side, the same goes for PM. You can totally do it too. For example, if you are already working, you can find a way to apply PM skills to different projects or different ideas you might have within the company. Or maybe you can help out a PM that's already doing those things there. If you're not at work, can you find a way to start a side hustle, start an entrepreneurial endeavor? Maybe you'll even earn some money on the side. But there's many ways to take PM skills and apply them to different types of projects that can help you both learn and be something you can talk about as you move into applications. All right, that's it. I hope that gave you a peek into the product manager's life and helped answer some of the questions about the needed skills. I have a lot more to share about product management, types of PMs, OKRs, PRDs, and more. So please let me know if you found today helpful and what other product management topics you want to learn about. See you soon, and thanks.